All right, the gang's all here.
Here we are. Look at how many people. Look at all these wonderful people here with us today. You guys can hear me? Yeah?
Yep.
Oh,
Sure
perfect.
can.
Perfect. Feels like we need some background ambient noise or something like that because it all sounds so quiet when you guys are quiet. Are we ready to roll? Is the gang all here?
Yeah, we can get started.
All right. Why don't you kick us off? Hey, I'll say some welcome, everybody. I see a lot of names in here. Some people that I was talking to at 5 a.m. this morning. I see you there, Imp. Ask with all your questions that they're asking. Thanks everybody for joining us. Some common names and pictures here. Go ahead,
You're up
Michelle.
in
Take this
Discord
away.
at 5 a.m. That's so
Yeah,
early.
I can,
Was awake very early.
yeah. I want to check in on Mal. He's always awake. He's awake at all times of the night. I'm trying to keep up. A little competition. No,
All
I
right, yeah,
actually
let's
love
get it
his
going then.
Discord. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so it was a pretty good week for Townstar and for the Townstar Forever progress. There wasn't any competitions this week, but we do have a competition next week. We got all the map updates this week, which is a nice, good start to making the map have more viable locations for everybody, which is super exciting. And there's rumors of Jimmy. So that's something to look forward to, I guess, as we see what happens as time progresses. Maybe he'll reach out to us. Maybe we'll reach out to him.
That would be cool. Oh, just a note. Everybody's like, who is SageMaker? Yeah, guys, I changed my Discord name from Paladin to SageMaker just so that, I don't know, there was tons of Paladins and I couldn't find comments you guys were leaving as easily. Just in the regular chat. So I changed that up. There seems to be less of SageMaker. So that'll be my new name going forward until I change it again. Mage Saker. Nice. Mysterious Peanut. Nice. Uh, there we go, Smoothie. All right. Yeah, maybe Jimmy will come back. I don't know. We'll have to see. I like Jimmy.
Stole a
Was
spaceship.
Yeah, maybe. Nice, Mal. Nice, Mal.
All right, let's jump right into the Q&A. You ready?
Go for it. Yes, we have
All right.
answers,
Ready.
I think.
Question number 1 this week. Are there any plans for a graphics update?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, there is. And I'll give a quick note. We're not ready to show something today, but probably next week. And I call it an evolution of the graphics. We love the art style of Townstar. It's very unique. You know it every time you see it. So we're not going to change that. We're going to do an evolution of it. And that'll be primarily adding a little more textures, texture detail, possibly a little bit of changing on some of the geos, but when you see it, you'll know what I mean when I say evolution. It's just a step up. So soon, and really soon. It's just here's the thing. When I say soon, we have examples already sitting inside of some of our test code running our servers. So I just want to make sure we get it kind of locked in place because we're not just creating one or two pieces of art. We're creating one or two pieces that are effectively the prototype for how we're going to set the art for the whole game.
I'm sure everybody's looking forward to seeing some of those next week, maybe later on.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Was any development prep work that could have been worked on prior to the shutdown done? I don't understand how shutting down to work on development reason, so maybe if you can elaborate on the reasoning, I'd appreciate it.
So when shutting down, I think you're talking about shutting down the earnings on the emission of town coin. I think if I'm guessing right.
I would imagine that's
Yeah,
what
it
the
was
question was, yeah.
okay. Yeah, so stopping development and working on town stuff forever was not the primary reason. The primary thing we did, the sort of the impetus for starting discussions on what we should do was basically the Townstar economy as a whole. So joining the project, there's a lot of discussions on that fact, and we kind of all got together and just decided, we have to start taking action. And that was the first action that we did. We looked at the economy and said, look, we got to figure out how to fix this and fix this in the right way. No band-aids. And then as we were doing that, simultaneously, we started looking at what the long-term solution is for Townstar. And that kind of picked up some of the Godot work that was being prototyped before. So while they are related, they're not causal. So yeah, and was there any development prep that could have been worked on prior? Some of the work that was being done prior to turning off emissions, obviously, we talked about Ledger of Truth, and that is still running in the background. We just decided not to keep going forward with it. And then other small features are just continuing on as well. So I'm seeing a little bit of hearts and something going on. Can you share more plans about Jimmy? Do solo players need to be worried? No. Yeah, that's a good point. I love Jimmy, near and dear to my heart. We will fix Jimmy. He is a stable character for us, and maybe we'll have I mentioned this before. Maybe Timmy for tournament Jimmy will show up. But I think you can kind of take forward that we're going to kind of maybe fix some of the missteps of the past in terms of game balancing and whatnot, or reintroducing it when we're introducing new features or things that we're taking out of it in the past. That's all I got on that one, Michelle.
Danelle, to answer your question, the Ledger of Truth, it's still a thing. It's still running in the background. It's just, we've just stopped work on the front-facing part, like the rollbacks that you would see on your end, but we can still see everything on the backside.
Yeah, that's a key part.
Yeah, we've just paused it until we move on into the new game. Reprioritizing.
Did we introduce Volcron here? Did we do any introductions? I realized I just jumped right in and we started talking.
I've said hi before. Hi, everybody.
I said hi before? Well, maybe remind them who you are, because I saw you just answered there, Danelle's note.
Oh, hey, I'm the tech lead on Townstar. So we are doing stuff, which I'll talk about in a bit. Do you want me to talk about the Townstar Forever, or wait on after the next few questions?
Let's get through some of those questions, and then we'll jump in.
I got one more question.
You're going to cause a disruption. Okay.
All right, this last question here for you is, how determined are you to keep NFT's utility in the long run? Is there a chance that NFTs that we have at some point will lose their in-game utility because of changes in the game?
Oh, right. I see that question. Yeah, are we going to do something like we replace wheat with oats, and suddenly your wheat NFTs are useless? No, guys, really, that question. I know this is a very serious question to you, and the reason I'm chuckling is not to make light of it, but really just to share that inside of our heads is these NFTs are things that we're going to bring from current Townstar into Townstar Forever. And that to me is, they're just parts of the game that we're just bringing over. Now, will we change the functionality on some of them? Maybe. If something's broken, we'll update it. But the goal will be to make the game better overall. And I think, when it comes time to talk about it, you might be excited about some of the things that we're actually talking about doing there in the planning stages right now. Not ready to talk about it, but one thing you can be sure of is that, we're going to bring your NFTs over. Yes.
It's always been kind of shocking to me that people kind of thought that we might just eliminate some NFTs. It seems like a crazy idea. I don't know why we would ever do that. So
Yeah, I think, let's kind of pick an imaginary. If there's like some NFT that we look at it and it's like just breaks things so horribly bad, right? Well, look, we got to change this for everyone's good. We'll figure out what to do on those on case by case basis.
for sure. All right, if we want to move on over to whatever Volcron wants to talk about, we could jump right over that.
I know I do.
All right. I'll try not to leak anything. I'm going to stick to this, questions.
Stick to the script. Stick to the script.
Stick to the script. Stay on target. All right. So I'm going to share a screenshot here. This is from one of my weekly TPS reports. What we've put together, one of the test scenarios here is two different towns. One is kind of your basic starter town with a bunch of trees. The other has 4,096 houses in it. This is part of our performance profiling. I think it's pretty cool. we're going to have other things pop up as well. Of course, when we programmatically create these towns, we're going to randomize it. We're going to have like 4,000 units walking around for profiling and all that. I'm not going to tell you what platform we took these screenshots on. You can just kind of guess and wonder and hope. And it's pretty cool there. So that's kind of something to let you know about where we're going with it. And then kind of speaking of the grid, I guess everybody can see that it's bigger than the 16 by 16. So that's kind of a leak. I don't know if we've talked about that before, but one of our big goals with this one is to support.
Yeah, we did talk about it.
Okay, great. Yeah, is to support more than just square or rectangular towns. So we've met that goal already. We can have kind of arbitrarily shaped towns. We're probably not going to do that for y'all like as soon as it launches, but there is the foundational work in place where we can do things like have kind of, I don't know, S-shaped towns or circles or whatever. It all depends on what the game designers want to do, right? So that's in there, the base for that. And of course, we're doing the profiling. And then a little more talk about the grid. As you know, placing things in Townstar right now is everything's kind of the same size. Some things, of course, take up multiple squares, tiles. But we want to support what you might call subgrid positioning. Currently, the thought is just decorative stuff like barrels and flowers and things like that. But we do want to be able to kind of lock in where those things go. So you'll be able to place little decorative things around the house if you want, along the roads, things like that. Basically anywhere they'll fit. So that's pretty cool. We've got, I guess, as far as like
hold on for a second, guys.
Oh,
Jason,
sure.
just hold on for a second. You guys in chat, what do you think? Does this look good? Is it interesting? Danelle's in there. I see some people typing. Great. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Heart. Love the 64. Looks awesome. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that that Volcron gets some feedback for all the hard work that devs are doing, and also other devs that are listening in on the call here. Loving it. Yes, awesome. Super excited. Wow. Crypto Yami. Okay, nice. Oh my God, nice. Looks good.
Oh my goodness,
Great.
look at all that.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing that, because part of the thing we talk about is community. Which what you guys in the community do is you give energy into dev teams, and so it's nice to see your feedback, and it also really helps encourage team members too. Oh, look at that, Smoogie. Nice. Talk faster and accidentally say something you shouldn't. Right. Now we're going to try not to do that, D-Now. Yeah.
Oh man,
nice. Okay.
I even love the salty comments. Boy, are we gonna need more NFTs.
That
All
is
right.
nice. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, how would you get water into the middle of that town?
Interesting problem to solve.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Let's see. Oh, speaking of like just feature parity and stuff like that, one thing that was cool to see this week was, of course, you all know one of the main drivers for this rewrite isn't just like cool new art and better engine and all that, but also it's locking down a server authoritative, more RTS style system on the game itself, right? So it was super cool this week to see wheat actually growing in our Townstar Forever, and the growth of that wheat being told to the client by the server. For those of you who don't really care about those details, I get it, but for people that are looking in at this every day and looking at how can we make this more secure, reliable, stable, safe, fair, that was an amazing, basically a good milestone for that, showing async data growth on the server side, pushed back up to the client. That was neat.
That's to stop. That'll stop cheaters, right? I mean, that kind of stops cheaters, a lot of cheaters in their tracks, as opposed to right now when you can write a script, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what we have is because the server and the client share the same code base, one, that makes it way less complicated. Two, when the client is looking at can you afford this thing? the server is going to run the same logic plus, accessing the database and other things that the client can't see. But yeah, if somebody finds some way in the browser or whatever to say, hey, server, I've got whatever, the server, because it's server authoritative, is just going to say, nope, no, you don't. So there's a lot of potential there for a lot of really cool things.
It also is exciting from the game design point of view, right? Because now we could do features where before we'd always have to go, how is someone going to hack this on the client? Man, it's really, we got to reduce the functionality. Now that it's server authoritative, it to me opens up a lot of new design space.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's even things that the server is going to be able to push to the client that the client can't even see. I don't want to I don't want to brainstorm here or leak anything extra, but
yeah, maybe we should hold off on talking more and just keep going forward then.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess more talk about the server. The tech is looking amazing for the scaling. As you all know, right now when you play Town Star on the competition, it's like P to E1, P to E2, and stuff like that. So we're investing heavily from the beginning on massive scale. So the ability to go up and down as we get more and more people, that's a cool step. And then kind of the core tech is coming along great. I mean, just seeing how much progress we've made in the past few weeks is super inspiring to me.
Tech?
I mean,
what's the core tech?
Core tech would be anything from shared code base, automated tests, continuous integration and deployment, our servers, the load balancing, how we talk from the client to the server. Anybody who's done sniffing on our client might see we use WebSockets as well as some HTTP calls. I don't know if you guys do you all find this kind of like level of detail interesting? Should I stay at this tech level or should I just talk about features? What's the feedback
said
here?
yes. Yes, we love tech.
Oh, nice. All right.
More tech.
More tech.
I'm just waiting for the more leaks comment, right?
A crypto. Oh, you got the best GIFs. Oh my gosh. Sorry,
Nice.
These are great. Oh man. And there's even some talk with the community. Yes, I did, Peanut. There's even some talk with the community about from the beginning supporting APIs a little better. So those are in talks. No promises right now, but I personally would love to provide Gala sanctioned API server for Townstar.
How about you missed a point there. I'm looking at our bullet points there. You see that second to the last one? Did you say that? The wish list item?
Oh yeah. Keyboard inputs. First time I played Townstar, maybe this doesn't matter to some of you guys, but I couldn't hit escape to close the modals or close the store, and I'm super keyboard driven. So yeah, so that's already in. We're already adding keyboard shortcuts. Yeah, obviously for the platforms that support it, it doesn't make sense on iOS, but that's great for me. I mean, I use my keyboard shortcuts in GitLab and Gmail and Proton Mail and everything else. So I think there's a use case for that. And Cortec, Towndred, Basics. Oh, Basic Store. Yeah. And then Townstar Forever, our Basic Store UI is up. It's being redesigned a little bit. Our amazing artists are coming up with some really cool looks for it. And yeah, I guess that's a Townstar Forever update, unless people have some more live questions about it. Tech side,
I'm not seeing more questions on that, but I'm seeing some other questions. Let me jump into, so Nacho Pack. Any updates for Town Node owners, please? Sure.
Yeah.
I don't want you to think this is boring, but go ahead. You want to say something, Volcron, about that?
Yeah, just from the beginning, we are containerizing our servers with the intent of possibly running them from town nodes in the future.
Yeah, that's a nice big fat leak.
That's a leak.
That's a big leak there. The other thing that I wanted to share about it for note holders is that we're looking at, well, I can't tell you the details on it, but lead PM and I and other folks around the company are actively continue to have active meetings on it, discussions, and looking for the really cool things that we can do with the nodes. Kind of like you're seeing early on here in Town Stuff Forever in the screenshots and some of the leaks that we're putting out there. We're really looking at trying to figure out awesomeness to deliver for you guys. So, gosh, I feel like I'm just spitting hype, but it's real. The stuff and discussions in the background are real. So, there was something else brought up, another question there. Mal and Michelle, are you seeing anything in the Discord chat that we should jump onto and answer? I saw something about land rushes. Is that right?
Yeah, someone mentioned something about having the 64 by 64 grid have a river and a mountain as a part of it to cut down on issues with land rush. It's a cool idea.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It is.
Interesting.
Drag and build roads. And the Ra? Interesting, huh? Anthony Ra, your picture looks really familiar to me. Do I know you? Maybe not. Anyways, any other questions? Mal Michelle, you've been watching. I've been trying to listen and keep up with Volcron. Is there any other questions you see we should answer from the chat before we move on to new stuff?
There's stuff around Box, but we haven't got leaks for that. That's not any plans at the moment that we're working on. So that'll be a future leak if there's any around there.
When Pizza Shop. Are you looking at the design docs there? One odd agent. Have you been surfing my Google Drive? Other stuff.
The pizza and sandwich beef is very funny. I said to Michelle that if we ever do when we get round to pizza, we should do like a pizza sandwich meta, like try and get it in the same month. It'd be really funny if we could ever get that in, or at least do both of those metas in the same month to see who's best pizza or sandwich makers. And
I'd have a tough time choosing. As long as they both got cheese in them, that's fine with me.
It's a town pizza. Are you team pizza or are you team sandwich? There's the competition. There we go. Where's Jimmy? We don't know. Sinister grin. We don't know. It's around.
Jimmy got taken, and that's all we know. Aliens and Jimmy.
All right, let's move on to some other questions. Are we all done with our tech talk? It was fantastic.
Think so, right, Volcron? We're good?
Yeah.
No other leaks to spell out? Okay.
Any more in the pocket?
Cool.
Just the Tier 7 railgun.
That's just not a
Kidding.
leak.
Kidding.
Right. Yeah, so let's go
All
forward.
right, well, let's move on then. All right, so next question I have is, are there any plans on selling a lumber storage with smaller capacity?
Yes, that's definitely something we can do. We've got a storage coming soon if anyone's looking for somewhere to store their empty bottles and wine. If that's a thing people want a little bit of help balancing, I know that can be useful for those wine builds.
All right. We got next question is, are there any conversations regarding reducing sugar requirements? If so, please expand on the answer.
If so, please expand on the answer. Well, the simple issue is sugar is a nightmare at the moment because it's in a lot, and that's why it's becoming more focused around sentiment. The high water requirements, the windmill requirements are higher. It's a lot in ingredients. So there's a few areas where sugar can be looked at from the crop, the windmill, or the amount that goes into various ingredients. I'm looking at all of them, trying to decide which is best. Maybe a little touch on all three of them. Maybe a stronger touch on another one versus one or the other. I don't fully know yet. I know roughly what I want to get done. So I do plan on looking at sugar. I hope that was explained enough.
Sugar covered bacon. I don't think I've ever eaten sugar covered bacon. I like brown sugar bacon, maybe. I see you, one
It's
odd agent.
intense. It's intense there. I've tried it before. It's I can't eat too much of it. It's too much.
All right, sugar pizza. Had that. I'm not so sure about that. Anyway, the next question, which seems to be pretty much right in line with the last question, is: are you looking at creating balance in the game? For example, a cake build to be equal to a blue steel build.
I don't think it makes sense to try and balance builds that aren't the same with each other. Necessarily, some builds are harder than others. Does that mean all tier ones and all tier twos and all tier threes have to balance? I don't think it makes sense. In terms of the future game, maybe it does go like that. I don't know. I don't think there's very much fun in that, especially because we won't change. Because if all of them were balanced, that would mean there was no change, or every change had to balance everything in line. And in this game, one change can put things very out of sync. So I don't think it's as easy as that, nor do I think it makes much sense to do that, especially with the idea of like rolling metas and keeping the game fun.
That's really all I've got for questions. People aren't
Right.
asking
Let me
questions in the
pop in.
surveys.
Yeah, ask your questions in the surveys, guys. I've jotted down two notes here that seemed that I wanted to jump into. One was, are we still doing gems, and what's happening with that? I actually was typing a document this morning about the economy notes on Townstar Forever. And one of the things I almost typed in there was gems. And I said, well, let's just for right now not call them gems. The idea of gems are still living on, but we might rename it because it just feels a little bit of a kind of a fiction mismatch. We might still come in, but yeah. So, but we're basically redesigning the economy, so we'll figure out how that works out. Another question: chains, man. What are you, a PM or something like that? I see you asking what metrics are you using to measure the success of Townstar adoption, classic measures, retention, fun, all those kind of things. And yeah, that's what, at Gala, we're just about make a great game. And that's where those classic game measures come from. So, I think by the questions you're asking, you probably know what those are. So we'll leave that at that. Has we seen any other questions we should answer from the chat before we move on to the next segment? Awesome. Passive wood, larger splay. Okay. I'm not seeing any.
Leaks for future meta. Oh my god, we need to do this meta, and then we can start leaking the next meta. Because last time I rolled too far ahead and then leaked everything, and then it went in game early, and then everyone had all the juicy details. And now I haven't got more juicy details. But for the people that don't know, you're going to be doing the fabric box, which is made from a 1 wooden box, 1 wax, and 3 uniforms. That'll be made in the fabric plant. And you'll also need the wooden box, which is made in the lumber mill. But here's the fabric box icon. As I said to people in chat last night, it was the prettier of the boxes. The wax is for a wax seal on top. Comes out the fabric plant, so of course it has a nice ribbon on it. The wooden box will be 1 lumber, 2 wood, 2 energy. 25 seconds in the lumber mill.
There's a note there for you, Mal, about from Citizen X. Do you see that one?
No, I was just going to answer the one that both stored in the warehouse. Where's the one from Citizens?
Says, not to throw a wrench, while I love the new progressive challenges in TS, is there talk of an adjustable difficulty for those people who like it easier?
If we're talking competitions, then what do you mean? I mean, a competition's a competition. We don't really want... I mean, for the actual game itself, then I assume it's not going to be, super intense all the time. I would imagine we're trying to get a wide variety of users. But in the competition, metas do rotate between fairly easy to fairly complicated to very complicated. So there's definitely going to be plenty of metas that they're not going to struggle with for sure.
Cool. Anything?
That's all I have
Is
for
that?
questions.
That's the end of our agenda. That's the end of our
Yep.
agenda. Okay.
Does anybody else have any live questions for us while we're here?
Maybe do we want let's see. Do we want to get a quick update from our Twitter Twitter environment? Not sure. I'm not sure if I'm seeing Atomic. Let me see. Go to the stage. Where are you? If you're there and you can hear us, jump into the stage, and we will maybe give a quick update. Oh, sorry. Atomic's sending me. They hardly have a voice. Okay, so not this week. It's sort of a little improv moment there, and yeah, stay. Get better. Take care of yourself. Are you guys seeing more questions? I jumped out of that to check the stage.
You want about dynamic pricing? I really do love the idea of dynamic, like cash and stars for things. I think it definitely mixes it up, makes you think.
Yeah. Oh
You know, like
yeah. I love that.
that
Yeah.
can change. That can be it could change with the season. It could change with events in game. It could be could be tuned, I think, to be really fun. And you don't get to shout at people directly because it's like an AI doing it instead of stuff. So it's really fun in that sense if you're always trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. There you go. HP weather affecting pricing. You guys are hitting on some of the stuff that I spent time working on last weekend, and even more in terms of server work and things that we can do to make the town and the world feel dynamic. Especially as we're talking about, forever towns or persistent towns. Part of the thing I know as a game maker is the thing that makes persistent towns fun are when the equilibrium of it gets knocked off a little bit. Maybe it's by, something like pricing changes in resources, or maybe it's when it comes time to add a new building and that building takes up, 2 or 4 spots. And so you have to rearrange things. So we're looking at those kind of dynamic, adding that dynamic experience to Town Star Forever.
Yeah, that's
Difference.
the idea. Different cities
Yeah.
giving all the different cash. Some cities might give lots of cash but low points. Some give them a medium of both. Just that when you're looking round, is it better to sell to the city 1 minute away, or 3 times to the city 1 minute away, or 2 times to the city 4 minutes away? Just all that like extra idea of trying to look for the best cash or point value depending on what you want.
Well, here's a fun thing. Boney Chill said work assignments, and Michelle, you jumped in there and said contracted workers can fire them, lay them off, or give them raises to make them work harder. What do you guys think about that? I see a couple of little emojis. This 3 people, little shock, little crying. I was crying. Oh, Volcron. I guess I did that like too. Oh no, somebody else. Yeah, there we go. A couple other things. What do you guys think? Contracted workers like other players. That's one of the things we actually did in Cityville, Anthony Ra.
Well, that would be fun if you had to like set up contracts with other towns to buy and sell goods
Yeah,
between them.
yeah.
That would be fun.
Maybe if our towns were not just solely sort of factory towns, worker towns, and there were some other people that showed up now and then. That might be interesting.
Crypto crafting is something for when we've got Zigari chain. At least that's as far as I know. But yeah, we'd want to do that without the fees of Ethereum. So
I see a note there. Raiden so hard. Interesting. Given the similarities, they're 2 completely different mindsets, teams, and directions. One game had effect on the other. As far as I know, I'm not sure if anybody on Townstar spent a lot of time with Legacy, other than the chat I just had this morning with Elliot, the leader of that team, of our team, internal Gala, and then also Cherie and Peter Molyneux. So I know they're working very hard in their product, but Townstar's not in that same direction. Time brought to you by Monster Energy Drinks. Wait a minute, I think I missed something. Something about when we get energy drinks where workers get a drink and run faster. That sounds like an awesome buff there, BKS. It sounds really awesome and interesting. Spider tanks walking in your town. Yeah, one of the things people keep talking about in the whole promise of NFTs and Web3 is interoperability. I'm a huge fan of that. Won't bore everybody with the detail now, but I remember back in the days when it used to take a day to hook your printer up to your PC, and then interoperability happened, and now what? You can do it in 10 seconds. Right? So absolutely interoperability.
But further down the line, I see a lot of people wanting every single game and NFTs from every game in Town Source. So just to answer that as a blanket, way down the line. But as SageMaker says, we can definitely enjoy the interoperability of the blockchain. But yeah, way down the line. Don't be speculating yourselves to death on anything around that.
Saving them some time now. Saving them some time. Yeah, it does take a little bit of work, but there's, I'm a huge fan of it, so I'm always thinking about it, and I've actually had several conversations in the last week about it. So it's went peeping on other towns. Oh, guys, you guys heard me talk about social, so absolutely, Townstar Forever social is a part of it. Is actually a part of it. Now, the question is in today's context, when people have their Townstar, what I'm calling Townstar Live game up and running in the competition, some people don't want other people to look, right? They're like, this is my secret build. That's cool. And Townstar Forever, of course, when we have the ability to look across at other people's towns, when and if we add that, we'll have some filtering, the ability to shut stuff off. Wow, look at this. What I love about all the questions that I'm seeing, guys, is I think you're capturing what we're all feeling inside, when animal breeding, what about Townstar Fair? All of these things, these are really what we're going to be able to lean into with Townstar Forever. The new engine, the incredibly strong tech team that we have working on it. There's a lot of goodness coming. Okay. So I think we should probably wrap up. Now, Michelle, what do you think? I know there's still more questions. They'll keep coming forever, but we got to get back to making the games.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys have more questions, throw them in the forum. That's what it's there for, and we'll get to them next week. Yeah. I'll repost it again.
Thank you. Okay. Hey, well, so special thanks to our special guest, Volcron, and all the wonderful leaks you guys and previews you guys got out of him. Good job in kind of stealthing those questions to expose things. I love that. Thank you. And then, of course, obviously, Mal and Farmer Michelle, thank you so much for setting all this up, of course. Any last thoughts, team, that we want to share?
But it's all Farmer Michelle. Well done, as usual, for making a great AMA. And thank you, everyone, for showing up. It's nice to see everyone, even though I see you most days. It's still nice that there's more of you here. Still clear my throat. But yeah, it's nice to see the extra people that show up for these AMAs.
All right, Michelle, everybody, have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody. See you.
And I'm gonna watch you leave that chat. Seeing all your happy faces. Look at that. They're going. Sparkle, Zerk. I see you guys there. Cow Hunter. Greg Time. Kirk Booth. Kirk. Well, I love Star Trek. The Captain. Nice. See you guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Willem Woes. Sinister Grin. There you are again, man. Question. Lon Solo.